Hi there everybody, it's Sanna here today again. I would like to share with you a process video how I create one of these houses that are kind of storage boxes, or you can hide the, little things inside, or you can give them as a present box. You can give them away as a present box. And this was the first house that I did, and I'm keeping my artist trading cards, coins in here, and there's still a little bit space for a few more. And I thought I'd make another one for this mixed media tutorial for today, and I'm starting off by applying gesso on around this box, so let's start with that. So what I'm basically doing is I took my foam brush and I'm just applying a thin layer of white gesso. This is by Liquitex, onto the roof and then also onto the base of the house. And then this type of project always needs a drying time, so I'm going to leave this to dry overnight, and then I'm coming back to this project tomorrow. I hate the drying times and I'm really impatient, so I would just want to continue while when I've started, but it doesn't work that way, so just need to learn to be more patient with it. And that's it. That's it for the first step, and let's leave it like that and come back on it tomorrow. And so we're continuing decorating this house, and the gesso has dried overnight, and I'm going to start by adding some texture to the base. And I chose to use the Faber-Castell glass bead glitter gel on this at this point. And I'm going to use this stencil. This is the Lupinus from STAMPlorations, and this is one of my own designs. And I was thinking I'm just going to use this flower part and add just a little bit texture. We'll see how that goes, if that works for this media, or if that's too small. We'll see. If it doesn't work, I'll change the stencil. But seems to work quite nicely. So I'm just applying a little bit there to get some texture on my house, and I'm doing it quite randomly, not doing all the surface, the whole surface here, just partly bits and pieces. And that's the problem, is now that I actually need to let that dry now and to be able to move forward on my other sides, but I'll put that aside and do the roof, because that can dry on its own. So everything mixed media with thicker medias that you work with, they always need a drying time. You can help a little bit with a heat gun, or you just can be patient and let them dry on their own, because some medias react to the heat and start acting strangely, so I like giving them some proper drying time on their own. So that would be my starting point for the texture surface, and I'll be back when this is dry, and then we will move on again. And now that this layer is fairly dry, I'm going to paint everything with this Tattered Angels Decor and DIY paint. This shade is called Tan, and it's a nice light shade that you can build up on, so this is going to be the base color. And I'm just taking a paintbrush, just a regular paintbrush, nothing special here, and we'll start painting this into a tan tone. And now you can see all the pretty texture there underneath. And this is a cool paint because it doesn't need any preparing or sanding or whatever, so you can just go on and paint a layer, and normally just one layer is thick enough to cover everything here, so you don't have to repeat like 2 or 3 layers of the paint. You're good to go with one. I really like these paints, and it's a little bit, when it dries, it's a little it looks a little bit like a chalk paint. Oops, going to make a mess there. That's why I'm working with a surface, a silicone matte. Okay, so here we go. This is almost done, and I'm leaving the house floor unpainted, because when you put it somewhere it doesn't stain or nothing can happen with that. Besides, you can't see the floor at all. And then do the same with the roof, and then let this dry again. So, and clean my fingers. I can't use rubber gloves. I'm not used to using those. If you don't want to get your fingers dirty, I suggest you take some, but I always wash my hands afterwards, so I don't mind if I get them a little bit full of paint and spray ink and whatever I'm working on at that moment, or working with at that moment. Okay, so that's almost done. As you can see, this has really great coverage, and it's almost finished. Sorry, my kids are screaming downstairs. I don't know if you can hear that. They are just speaking very loudly. I think I need to close the doors so that you don't have these extra noises on the background all the time. Okay, so I'll leave that there to dry and be back in a second when this has dried. This doesn't take such a long time to dry. And you can even paint furniture with this paint. There's quite a lot of paint in one can. Just make sure you don't get paint, if you close these, that you don't have paint around the edges here, because then the lid will get stuck and you can't open it anymore. Other than that, works really well, and you can really paint furniture with this for really nice results. They have plenty of colors. I really like that paint. Okay, so our box is developing, it's getting there, and then I'll be back when it's dry. Okay, and next I'm going to add some parchment rub-ons onto this surface here and there. I don't know yet where to put them, but I will see how that turns out. And these are by 7 Gypsies, and I love these. I love adding these on canvas, on paper, on you name it. They work really well. They are really of good quality, and you can add really nice details to anything basically you're working on. So I thought I'd make this a little herb and flower and plant themed house. So I'm adding these. To the background. I'm just rubbing them in with an ice cream stick. You can use a paintbrush or anything else similar to, if you don't have an ice cream stick. Totally not necessary. So there's the first plant, so if the house is standing you can see the plants. And we'll see where to put one. Maybe we can put a small one here. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll start with the bigger ones first. I want to do the big ones. Maybe one here, like it's hanging from the wall. And these are really easy to apply onto a surface. And like I said, they also stick very well to a canvas. You just need to be careful when you wash it. it's probably not going to stick forever, or you have to treat the surface with something, a fixative of some kind, to keep it from coming off. Okay, so there's the second one, and maybe we can add some, let's put this small one here. Where's the, okay, this way. I think that will fit there quite nicely. And I'm not being really specific about the details, so I just want something for the eye to watch. So if the image is not perfect, I don't mind. And then let's put one here. This should be like this, I think. And it, surprisingly enough, it sticks also really well to the textured surface. Of course, not at every single spot, but you can still see the pattern. I'm really happy how this works out. Okay, so there we got our next plant. Worked really nicely. Cool. And then maybe add one more here, or maybe one to the roof, we'll see. So you can close the lid like this. Let's try the other side. Looks better that way. More in balance. And then we'll put one on the top, I think. That would be nice. I think that will look good. Just try and put one here. It's a little bit more tricky because this piece is quite small, to keep it still and not from moving around. But we'll get there. Just a little bit patience. Okay. Just trying to rub every detail in there that I can. Not going to be perfect, but I don't mind. You can also use your finger. If you find it easier, you can just rub it in with your fingers to get you all into all those tiny places. Probably better with a finger. That's it. There's our plant. And let's put one here. Maybe on the other side, put it here. Okay, we're almost done. I'm going to try to do this with my finger first. No, it's better with the stick. There it is. Okay, so there are leaves and herbs and plants. Stick to the house. And then let's move on. I've pre-misted a piece of sweet ribbon. Or what is this? I don't know if this is sweet, whatever. And I thought I'd add it here, but I'm not quite sure if I like the pink with the brown. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do the untreated part with white. No, that's too. We'll just do another color here. Or maybe add this. We'll see. And then next I thought I'm going to mix some silver mirror ball Nuvo glitter with the glass bead medium. And add some details with that. This is the barley, also from my stencil collection by STAMPlorations. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some media onto my working surface. And this already has a little bit glitter in there, but that is like holographic or transparent or iridescent, how do you call that? I'm not quite sure. And I'm going to add a silvery detail to it by pouring some mirror ball fine glitter onto this paste and mixing it together, so I can add some textured glitter details through the stencil onto the surface. And when this dries, you can see the glitter better. If it looks awful right now, it looks like a grayish ugly paste, but remember when it dries, the glitter will show more. Try to grab all the glitter from here. That's the pain working with loose glitter, it gets everywhere. And then just add some details with this stencil. See, I didn't clean this one properly. We'll see how that works. Always clean your stencils when you're working with them. Just want a little bit detail here, so I'm going to put that there. And then just apply the media. And I can always mix more if I didn't get enough the first time around. And just put this away and then go around the corners to wipe off any extra residue. So there I've got a very abstract pattern of barley on top of the luminous stencil. I kind of like that. We'll see how that turns out when it's dry. And then wipe off the residue of the stencil so you can use it again. And let's put this here and grab some more. Okay, and then this big chunk has to go. Okay, that looks really nice. I like it. And then leave that to dry, or maybe we can, no, I'll leave that to dry and work with the roof again, and then move on when it's more dry. Don't want to make a mess. Don't want to make a mess and ruin everything now at this point. So I'm just holding the stencil with my finger to keep it on place, and then adding everything there. And that's it. Oops, sorry for that. And there's my pattern. And I'll leave that to dry a little bit and then do the rest and show you when it's done. Okay, so the house is... oh, sorry, the paste is almost dry. It's a little bit... how do I call that? When you go over it, it's a little bit slightly moist still. So I'm not going to work on it quite yet. But I thought I'd show you how it looks like now. And this is the paste mixed with how was it called? Mirror ball. Nuvo glitter. I really like this tone. It has a nice shine to it. I don't know if you can catch that on the video. I'll just tilt this maybe at some point here. I think you can see that. And I think it looks quite nice the way it is now. And I'm considering what to add. Maybe just a little bit. A few ink splatters and just a little bit decor, and that's it. In my opinion, it doesn't need much more anymore. Okay, so I will be back with this in a second. Just give it a little bit more drying time. So I've continued decorating the surface, and I couldn't resist. I added some glimmer glaze droplets on top of the stenciling, and they are just very random drops everywhere. I had it all around my fingers and everything, everywhere. Had to wash my hands. But I love this random splatter effect a lot, so I added it all around. Some bigger splatters and smaller ones here and there, just for a fun, interesting detail for the eye to take a look at. And then I'll continue. I think I'm going to try the ribbon still, even though it's pinkish, maybe it works. Could work quite nicely. Just add something, some decorational details to this. I'm going to look up for some flowers or chipboard or whatever and add it to this, and then it's done. So while the house is drying, I added some rub-ons from this parchment rub-on sheet onto white cardstock, then went over with Glimmer Mist. This is the tone Aquamarine. So I tinted the color, the paper a little bit more green, and I'm going to fussy cut these and add these to the house's decoration. So the house is already decorated. I've added the little banners here. These were the rub-ons that I added on white cardstock, then I misted the paper with Aquamarine Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. Then I've added some DIY flowers that I've made with molds. This is paper clay, these ones, and this one is resin, which I've tinted red with a color that was in the kit, in the resin kit. And then I've just added the pink, I think this is velvet ribbon, I'm not sure, yeah, could be, that I also tinted with Glimmer Mist. And this pink tone is called Pink Poodle, also by Tattered Angels, sorry. And then there are the rub-ons, and there's two types of stenciling and the base color in tan. So, and also some mirror ball Nuvo glitter and the glitter gel, glass bead glitter gel by Faber-Castell that I've added onto the surface on the very top. So when the light hits it, you can see all that beautiful shine and glimmer. And then other than that, there's just flowers and herbs. And it says on the top, it says it begins with a seed. I think it fits this little mixed media house quite well. So that's the second house. The first one was more in gray tones, and this one is more warm colors, tan and red and pink. So they will make a really nice set if I put them up somewhere. And a little bit different in style. That was the first one, and this is the second one. I kind of like this one a lot too. So that's it. That's my mixed media Sunday project tutorial for this month. I hope you enjoyed this and have fun stenciling and crafting. See you soon. Bye!